Next guy I came across who had some machinist items, he had a bunch of stuff just laid out on a blanket. A lot of the stuff looked like it had gotten wet at one time or another. It has surface rust on it. So initially I was like, more drill bits and taps and stuff. But then I saw some other interesting items among them. And then when I started asking him for like prices on a couple of items, the prices were really good. So I ended up just like putting together more and more stuff. And by the time I walked away with this entire bag of stuff that we're going to go through right now for $38. And when you see some of the stuff in here, you're going to be surprised. Like for instance, one of the first couple of things that I picked up that he gave me a good price on were these two handles. So this is a vise handle for a milling machine, but it's a genuine Kurt one, okay, and it's mint. And I think he initially told me $10 for these two handles. So I was like, oh, all right, I'll take that. And then I started adding more stuff on and just kept getting better and better, deals as I piled more on, because he came into the stuff apparently for next to nothing and didn't really value it much. This handle, I believe, is a Bridgeport handle or a Bridgeport clone. I'm not sure which. I'm not sure whether or not I would be able to even tell. Since I do not own a Bridgeport, I have a Wells index milling machine, which is like a Bridgeport, but better. Start some controversy. This handle's got a bend in it, as is evident now when I turn it, but that's okay. I think I'm going to do all right with these. What looks to be a Bridgeport branded boring head on a, well, no, it's not. It's a Taiwan, so it's a cheap import boring head on an R8 shank. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning up. It needs some love, as they say. And then there was this one. This one is a genuine Bridgeport #1. Says so right on there. Again, also, somebody unfortunately let it get wet. This is a R8 end mill holder. What's interesting to me is this thing on the back. I don't know what the deal is with this. It's almost like a pull stud. It's almost like a pull stud, like for a Cat 40 or Cat 50 tooling or something like that. But this is an R8 shank. So I'm going to guess that can be unscrewed. Well, mystery solved. The reason why this R8 collet has a pull stud on it is because this pull stud is a special stud for use with a quick change system made by a company called Mach 1. So it's the Mach 1 quick change system. And the way it works is you buy these studs from the company and a special facing tool that will face this edge right here to give the collet the exact length so that you have uniformity between collets, so that when you do a tool change, if it's on a CNC machine, you don't have to worry about the offset changing. Anyways, the thing about this is it's a really cool system because it's a special drawbar that has a coupler on the end, that the way it works is when you push back on the quill handle, it actually releases this ball coupling and allows this to drop out. So it's real quick and easy to make tool changes, and then you can use your own tooling just by buying their studs and modifying it slightly. I mean, I guess you wouldn't even have to do the modification if it was a fully manual machine. Anyways, so that's really kind of cool. And the company is right in Beverly, Massachusetts, right here in Massachusetts where I am. The bad news is it ain't cheap. It's like $650 for the special drawbar, and I think the complete kit is even more. So it's not the kind of modification I would make on my home shop machine, but it's just kind of neat to know that there is something like that out there. There's somebody selling a set of collets that have the Mach 1 pull studs in them on eBay, and they're asking like $750. So, oh well. Well, let's see what else we got in this bag. Oh, I see one more holder. This one Another R8 holder. Oh, okay, that's a face mill drive holder. It's missing the retaining nut, retaining bolt. Just clean it up a little, it should be fine. And then there was this little set of boring bars. They actually, some of them are pretty well used, and some of them look brand new. So I guess originally it was a set of 9. There's 8 left. And then he had these 2 collets sitting there. They're R8 Lindex brand collets, which is actually a pretty decent brand. Brand new old stock. Those are the only collets. I asked him if he had any other collets, and he brought me over to the back of his truck where he had a box of stuff that he didn't even take out because it was really even much rustier than this stuff. And he had a whole bunch of collets in there, but they were pretty badly rusted, so I passed on those. And then like I said, he had a lot of end mills and cutters and stuff that I passed on because I've got so many of them. But I did grab these 3. This one is a huge radius bit. This is marked FKD of Japan, and it's a 3/4 radius bit. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find a use for that at some point. I don't know. And I don't even remember what's in these and why I took them. This is a Niagara cutter. It says, oh, this is also a corner rounding end mill. 3/4 inch shank, 1/2 inch radius. Yep, that's what's in there. This looks brand new. And this one is another corner rounding end mill, 5/8 radius. Niagara. And this one got some surface rust on it, but actually the edge still looks really good. So I think this might also have been unused and just ended up getting wet wherever these things were stored. And there's one more item in this bag of stuff that I got from this one dealer, and this is the coolest thing of all the items that I got there because I'd never seen one before. So notice what this says. This says Infinity Precision Boring Heads, Ramsey Tool and Machine Company Incorporated of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And inside this little wooden box is a little tiny boring head. I've never seen one like that. So look at that little sucker. Unfortunately, pretty badly rusted. So I haven't even checked yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this might be a pricey little boring head. And what's in here with it is an Allen key, a little tiny boring bar, another little tiny boring bar, a little adapter of some type, and another little adapter of some type. And so let's take a quick look and see if we can't figure out anything about this. Here's a picture of one somebody's selling on eBay, and I can see that unfortunately where this Allen key is, there's a piece missing, which is, it's almost like a little adapter. What it is, it's a little graduation wheel. So the Allen key is supposed to go in the graduation wheel, and then on the underside of that wheel is basically a hex key that fits right in here. So it's actually the same size. So that hex drive on the underside of that little graduation wheel would fit right in here, which is why it fit in that hole. So, can still use it. The problem is you're not going to be able to just rotate this. There's a line right there that probably lined up with the graduations to tell you exactly how much you've moved it. So the good news is this isn't frozen. It's moving freely. Boy, that's really fine adjustment. Wow, too bad I'm missing that piece. Here's one that sold on eBay and brought $275 back in April. This one's got 6 boring heads. And again, it's got the missing piece, and of course it's not all rusty. Oh well. Probably going to end up keeping this anyways. I don't have any boring heads this small, I don't think. Not everything I bought that day was machinist related. Here's another item that I picked up. This is called a stealth cam. This is interesting. Guy couldn't tell me if it worked or not. Didn't really know much about it at all. We both knew that it was what they call a game or trail type of camera. The idea is that you put batteries in it and you strap it to a tree in an area where you think that there's going to be wildlife going through, and to plan your hunt. But anyways, you come back later, you open it up, and you take the usually there's a video card you can take out, and you check and see what's on the video card. The way it works is there's a sensor here so that it senses movement, and it's got a built-in flash by the looks of it here. And I think this counter tells you how many photos it's taken, so you can walk up and look, and if it still says 0, I guess if you walk up and you look, it takes your picture, right? Anyways, if you walk up, I guess you could kind of tell whether or not it's taken a bunch of photos or not. So I don't know how expensive these are. I'm sure there's all different brands and everything. This one here is an STC 1590. Well, quick Google search turned up plenty of downloadable PDFs of the owner's manual, so that's the good news. The bad news is this appears to be a pretty old model, so I think it's pretty worthless. If it works at all, I mean, I could try and use it on my property. I'm not really into hunting game, but these are also good for security. The problem is if you've got somebody coming onto your property and they notice the camera, and then they might just walk off with the camera, which is all the more reason why you wouldn't want to pay a lot of money for one of these, because it might just walk away. Install 8 C-cell batteries in correct polarity. Well, it's funny the way this looked. I thought it was actually smaller batteries, but it's just the way that this is. So yeah, a small fortune in batteries just alone on this thing. So I'm sure the more modern versions of these probably use a rechargeable battery pack or something like that. So kind of neat. A little bit of a screen here. I wonder if that screen actually shows what this camera's looking at, because there's a far and near coverage. It's almost like a zoom. No, that's probably the range of the sensor, I'm guessing. So anyways, obviously not going to do anything, and I know I don't have 8 C-sized batteries hanging around. Honestly, not many people are using that C-size anymore. But there's a 12-volt port on the back here, on the bottom. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you could run an external battery pack off of this thing. And for testing purposes, I could probably just grab myself an AC to DC wall adapter. Of course, I don't know the polarity, so I'd run the risk of putting something on there with the wrong polarity and smoking this thing if it isn't already broken. So, interestingly enough, I'm just realizing now, I don't see. Oh, here we go. There's a slot right in the side here for the SD card. No SD card in it right now, so didn't even get an SD card. How do you like them apples? Doesn't say. I'd have to look in the manual to see what the resolution of this thing was. But took a chance on it for $5.